Welcome back, everybody. It's Rudy with Alpha Investments, and I know it's been a while. We don't do as many of these videos anymore, and this is the what has been going through the store locally here and what is being sent to the store locally. And we got a couple collections, very small, nothing exotic recently. First, we're going to start out with this collection. Each one has a very fascinating story to it, which I thought was made it kind of worthwhile to really go over. First, we're going to talk about this particular collection and these particular Sedge Trolls. So these beta Sedge Trolls are one of those things that, first of all, when you look at it, you think your eyes are messed up. It almost looks fuzzy and blurry, doesn't it? It looks out of focus. And of course, they're darker than normal betas, and it always throws a lot of people off who aren't too familiar about being rebacked or counterfeit. Sedge Troll is one of those few cards that actually is kind of accidentally darker printed, and that just is what it is. Always been that way. So, overall, nothing weird. Check them all. Obviously, that's a nasty corner. Overall, very nice cards. Definitely a lot of play and love over the years. But again, beta rares and weird little silly cards like these are very sought after in 2019 and moving forward for anyone who's trying to collect old school stuff. And we got some commons, basically some little uncommons. Again, these are all played pretty rough, but they're cool cards. Nothing really crazy. I wanted to show these particular, and of course, a nice little example for those of you who want to learn beta versus alpha on the same blue elemental blast. I know we talked about this in the past with you guys, and if you really look at it, isn't it amazing when you put the alpha and the beta next to each other? The difference in the actual fonts. Look at how different the wording is on the blue elemental blast. Isn't that amazing? Just from alpha to beta, it doesn't even look like it's the same font. The way the beta is popped out and the way the alpha looks more flush. Isn't that weird? It's the same thing with all of the printing on that. You look at the word interrupt. See if we can get, there you go. Look at the interrupt right there. Isn't that amazing, the difference? Same thing with the bottom. If you look at the wording, look at the artist name, Richard Thomas, you can see the same thing. Look how different the words are. So that's always a really cool little fun thing. So lately there's been a lot of people trying to start their investing career in going into unlimited and revise. That seems to be a very hot thing now compared to the alpha beta because it's a lot cheaper, and a lot of people are trying to speculate, oh, when is, it's so much cheaper that's going to go up one day. I got to start with this. This is where the opportunity is, Rudy. I can't get behind it too much. As far as the rares or some of the more unique cards, I truly do get where you guys are coming from. But as far as like these commons, like creature bonds, uncommons, the walls, COP commons, I can't get behind. Regrowth, that's a unique one that, obviously got cut out by the 4th, 5th edition time, but I can't get behind trying to say these are going to be massive growth. Animate Artifact, great uncommon, old school. But a lot of these uncommons and Still Energies and Soul, I just don't see a lot of upward potential. Same thing when we go over to the actual 4th edition cards. You got 4th edition strip mines. They're cool. I like them. There's always going to be a market for them. They're always going to have value. They're probably going to slowly continue to drift up and slowly inflate in the price just from inflation and demand. But I don't see tremendous value in growth and investing in something like this. I mean, it's not like it pays a quarterly dividend. And then when you get over to same thing, you get over to like Chronicles. I know this is a white border Chronicles card from Legends. Recall. There's a few cool Chronicle cards that actually have gone up. But again, it's very limited growth. The supply is a lot more than a lot of people fully understand, even in 2019. And of course, last but not least, some of these revised cards, before I end it here, end this batch. These revised cards, there's been a lot of people targeting revised rares, like the Balance, the Armageddon. You like us like that? That's kind of funny. The Regrowth, again, Copper Tablets, of course, Contract from Below. In other words, some of those very old school, banned, restricted, silly cards will never be reprinted. But again, do not underestimate the supply of revised cards. Besides the dual lands, I have a hard time going in hardcore in any other revised cards. So just be really careful. I'm not saying they can't double, triple, but the probability, that risk level is a lot higher than what I feel the potential reward is. And that goes to the same thing when I look at miscellaneous cards. Some Weatherlight cards, you got some Excess Equilibrium, some Urza's Legacies, and of course you've got a little, was this from this particular batch? I think I actually grabbed this one. I don't think this was from the batch before. I could be wrong. But it's the same thing. Some of these, like this card always gets people pretty excited. Just the fact it's a foil Nicol Bolas from original like Chronicles, from original Legends, reprint, and this was the time shifted era card. And of course, original fetch lands, not really much to talk about, and of course, 4th edition land tax. But the biggest thing I want to talk about was obviously to show you guys the difference there, kind of give you my feedback on where we are in 2019. Next, let's jump to the next 2 out of 3 interesting conversations today. First, we're going to start with Arabian Night Mountains. While I don't see any more growth and the easy money's already been made, I do feel that these type of cards are going to continue to be a nice, stable, slow-moving thing. And if and or when that day ever comes, maybe it's 5-10 years from now, when we have another huge uptick and another inflation of the old cards and the market readjusts, these are the type of cards that are going to get hit and absorbed. I mean, these are very iconic cards. And this is the only basic land in Arabian Nights. I mean, you can only get a mountain. I mean, next, a lot of people ask me about City of Traders. So this particular card came in the collection here. Obviously, this is a very nice one. It is real. It's definitely not mint condition. It's a nice light played condition version. But this is one of those cards, the same thing. I personally have never been a huge City of Trader fans. I understand the decks and some people and kind of why it became expensive. I get it. It's just not a major, it's not one of my personal favorites from Exodus, but I know it's very pricey at over $100 a card now. I mean, even in played condition, it kind of is what it is. But I just think that people need to be careful trying to start an entry point at 100, 150 to try to sell one day or maybe flip the card for 300, 400. I don't see that kind of growth based on this current point. I just don't see it. So we want to get to the 2 spicy things. Beta Lord of Atlantis. This particular collection was these 4 cards was the #1 reason I was super excited to buy this batch from this gentleman. This is what sold me on working with him and wanting to get it, because I love these Lord of Atlantis, Lord of the Pits, these ABU, these specifically Alpha Beta type cards, kind of like a Goblin King type card, but for the merfolk. But I wish it did say, summon like. Don't you guys wish it said something like, summon Merfolk Lord? I don't know, just me. So again, these are all great cards, fully authentic. They pass all the tests. This one's a little chipped up. But these 2 particularly were actually very, very nice light play, almost towards near mint. And these 2, obviously, as you can even see in the sleeve. I won't bore you with going over the details, but great cards. Definitely not rebacks. Absolutely, just very happy to have them. I highly recommend cards like that for everybody just moving forward because they are unique. Now, the most scary part of the video, and I want to go over some things. These we are going to de-sleeve and talk about. Let's talk about foil, high-end, old-school investors with these old foils. These things are very, very... how do I say this? Okay, so old-school foils. They're worth a lot of money. They are the most sensitive, difficult cards to deal with. The buyers and sellers are very picky. They're very difficult to get high grades if you choose to grade these particular cards, mostly because of the surface. Look at the surface. You see that? If you send this in for grading, they're going to ding the crap and beat you up on the grade. And this is very normal. Old foils tend to have the cloudy, faded surface. It happens. And then, of course, the back, you get a slight curling, but nothing too bad. The issue is always going to be the front surface foiling. It's so rare and difficult to try to get a nice non-damaged foil surface. It's super duper difficult to do. So when you deal with these, you got to be really careful. They're not my favorite type of card to deal in, but God, they're flipping beautiful. I mean, nobody can disagree with how amazing and beautiful the cards are. I mean, look at that. I mean, especially the blues. Oh, so same thing. Most of these are like that, but I did run into one issue with one of these treasuries. Well, let's call it treasury. These treacheries, but I'll show you in a second. Again, they all have the same similar thing. So again, but I want to show you a problem I ran into, which is very, I wouldn't say common, but this happens and it's scary. So you have an expensive card like this, and you ready? You see this? When you see the back, they have these foil issues, and people who collect and invest in these type of foils, they run into these, they get real picky when you have like these light creases. And you can feel it when you rub your finger over it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I should have gotten my tool out for this video. Sorry, Rudy's tool is not here. But when you run into these type of cards that have the light creasing, that is from the factory. You really can't see it in a sleeve. Or actually, can you see on the front? Maybe you can see on the front. Oh no, you can see on the front. It actually looks dented. Yeah, see all the way across the front. You guys can see that. And you can feel the texture where the roller or the machine kind of damages it. And this one goes up top to bottom. Do you see that all the way up and down? I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to make that reflection real nice for you guys. And unfortunately, you can't grade them. And the problem is the people who try to buy and sell those cards, they're just so particular. I can't sell that as near mint. I have to sell it as a played card with issues. It is what it is. And again, there's still buyers for it, but you got to be super transparent and show that type of thing in the video. Last thing on this one little topic here, unlimited rares. Now, unlimited rares are completely different than revised rares. I know people confuse them; they look the same. Actually, wasn't there an Armageddon in the other pile here? I think this would be a great example. Oh man, I didn't even realize that. Perfect. Okay, this is a great example. These two cards are nowhere near the same. Like the value difference, the market demand difference, and how investors, collectors, and the 3% hot women, chicks, and evil people like me, we view these two cards, if they were the exact same condition, the price difference is astonishing. You look up perfectly mint, or is this one even mint? Well, light play. Let's pretend they're both perfect mint. You look up perfect mint unlimited Armageddon versus mint unlimited or revised, the price difference is astronomical. So you have to be really careful on that. Now, again, natural selection. These are great, beautiful cards to own. So I wanted to go over that with everybody. Hope you guys learned something. Last but not least on today's video, we haven't done this type of video in a while. I like to kind of do this to discuss everything with the market. It's a little longer in the video. I want to talk about, I started sorting these, but I received a huge bunch. Here, let me try to pause. Here, let me try to get them all on the camera. I've been receiving... Here's some more. I started sorting them. I'll do another video with all of them. I want to go a little bit more detail, but I want to show you guys a little. So I started sorting these. I'll do another video in a week or so about this. But there's been a lot of people, or not a lot, I hate saying that, a lot of people. There's been people, like collectors and people, trying to buy a lot of the cheap Arabian Night cards. Stone throwing. How can you not like Stone Throwing Devils? How can you not like the original Kurdave? I mean, how can you, God, just... Yeah, they're going to name another card, Army of All. Yeah, that's going to be the name of a future Magic card. Yeah, right. So there's a lot of... How do I say this? I don't want to make it sound like everyone feels this way. A good amount of people are realizing that even common, every card in Arabian Nights has value. It's like when people realize every card in Alpha has value. Like all the basic lands in Alpha, that kind of thing. A lot of people are fully starting to really realize that. And a lot of people are really trying to buy the cheap versions, the cheap card, tons of cheap Arabian Nights cards. And I've been wondering and thinking about that, and I've been wondering, how much of that is really going to affect the market over the next couple years on these cheap cards. Because if people just like them, like me, and they buy a bunch of these things, Brookag, that's an iconic card, am I right? And, if everybody starts buying, collecting tons of these things, Desert Nomads, iconic artwork. A lot of people love that. Star Wars fans love that card. I mean, what's going to happen to the price over time with people in collecting just play sets and tons of a lot of the commons because they can get them for maybe like $1 a piece or 50 cents or... I don't know. I feel like there could be something developing there longer term. I'm going to have another video before I end this to let you guys know that I'm going to do another video just dedicated to this topic. And also a video, a lot of people have been sending me messages and patrons have been asking me to discuss about this Portal 3 Kingdoms English stuff going on. Apparently there's specifically some investors and speculators, something going on where people have been telling me there's a few particular groups of people trying to slowly remove the Portal 3 Kingdoms, the P3K English rares from the system. And they've been wanting me to make a response to it. And I've been a little on the fence because I'm a little nervous to do that because I feel like that could fuel the fire because of the reach of this channel. So we'll see how it develops. But that's all I have today. If you have anything old or fancy or rare or creepy and you want to be on the channel, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. Send me some PPs, pictures and prices, and say, hey Rudy, buy my cards. Here's my pictures. Please, pictures of Magic cards only, please. I get some crazy crap. And put you on the channel. And if you're looking to sell or move forward with your life instead of being addicted to Magic, come on down.